Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Amar Tahir and my topic is Kashmir issue. Kashmir is one of the most disputed places on earth. Over the time period of 70 years, it's been at the center of three wars fought between two massive armies. It's heavily occupied by more than a half million Indian troops and a deadly collection of militias and terrorist groups. Kashmir is the stage for the relentless conflict between India and Pakistan. But focusing on the two countries can obscure what's really at stake: the voice of Kashmiris who are caught in a vicious cycle of violence. Where there is a conflict between India and Pakistan, the battleground is Kashmir. Kashmir is one of the most strategic places in the world where is powerful countries collide: India, Pakistan, and China. According to the geographical location of Kashmir, China invaded and took Askaichen from India and Shaksgam Valley given by Pakistan, while the Pakistan occupied Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir, whereas the India occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This region is at the center of brutal conflict over the dispute of borders, so it's important to start when the borders being drawn. The Jammu and Kashmir was different princely states. It have been Muslim majority population with Hindu monarch ruled on it. When asked to pick a side, the ruler chose to stay neutral. Fearing that the monarch would join India, the Kashmiri population rebelled in 1947 eh, by armed tribesmen from Pakistan soon joined the fight. The monarch turned to India for military help and in exchange agreed to join them, which sparked the first India and Pakistan war in Kashmir. The UN Security Council brokered a ceasefire in 1949 which established the line with Pakistan controlling the side of Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir and India controlling the side of Jammu and Kashmir. It is also asked to Pakistan tribesmen to withdraw and Indian troops to follow so that the Kashmiri could hold a direct vote to decide its own future. But the vote was never held. In 1965, the Second India and Pakistan War broke out in Kashmir. Thousands of people were killed between the huge armies on both sides. In 1971 war, this time the focus wasn't Kashmir but it was in East Pakistan. East Pakistan became a new country called Bangladesh. Kashmir became a battleground between two nuclear armed nations and another war broke out in 1999 between India and Pakistan. Over the years, Pakistani military groups got bolder and are launched terror attacks in and outside of Kashmir. In 2001, member of Lashkar-e-Taiba bombed India's parliament building in New Delhi, killing 14 people, and in 2008, 10 militants from the same group, Lashkar-e-Taiba, killed 174 people and wounded 300 in Mumbai. Meanwhile, India military cracked down Kashmiri, firing bullets on unarmed protestants. Hundreds of people are blind and wounded in this vicious cycle of violence. Adil Ahmed Dar, which brings us back to 2019. The suicide bomber was 19 years old, Adil Ahmed Dar from Pulwama, Kashmir. According to his parents, in 2006, Indian police officers stopped him and humiliated by forcing his forcing his face into the ground. The same year, he was shot in the leg as, at a protest. The next year, Dar left his home with his brothers to join Jaish-e-Mohammed, a Pakistani-supported militant group that radicalized him and trained him to be a suicide bomber. A year later, he drove explosives into an Indian military convoy. On 14 February 2019 led to the death of 40 personnel of the Central Reserve Police Force (CRF) of India. For more than 70 years, India and Pakistan have driven cycle of violence, retaliation and exploitation in Kashmir. But beneath it all is the Kashmiris' wish to make a choice. a wish that continues to be suppressed again and again and again by violence.